Hey D's fans, welcome to Before the Bounce for our preliminary final clash with the Crows. Lib, as always, plenty to dissect. The premiership is now officially in sight. There must be some excitement among the group.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long home and away season, but we've had a really great last couple of games, and we're just looking at it as another round, which is fantastic because you don't want to get too edgy about it being a prelim. But yeah, we're just excited to have another opportunity to play again.
We found out during the week the grand final will be in an isolated time slot. It'll be next Saturday, 2 p.m, either at Adelaide Oval, the Gabba or the MCG. We can't talk too much about that just yet. Hopefully not at Adelaide Oval, but we are in good form. We've won 5 in a row. The last 4 of them are all against finalists. Must be feeling good and knowing that our brand does stack up against the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I've said week after week, we knew that if we came up against the best and were able to beat them, we would put ourselves in a really good position to take the cup home at the end of the day. But as I said, Adelaide, they're a great side, and we played them in the wet last time, so it's going to be a completely different game, particularly given that it's at Adelaide Oval.
We are going to jump straight into an Oppo watch and take a look at the Crows. We did win that game at Casey Fields by 28 points, but as you said, Lib, it was different conditions. What do you expect from them this week?
Yeah, they're a fantastic contested mark team, particularly in their forward 50, and they play a really uncontested brand of football across the whole ground. So obviously with good conditions, they'll be able to play their method really well, but also equally, we haven't been able to play our method against them, which is a really strong brand of footy, as you've seen. So yeah, it's going to be a really exciting game of football, and I think it's going to be really clean. The conditions look great over the weekend, so it's going to be really exciting.
We kept them to just 5 scoring shots in that game. Obviously things are different. How much do you look at that game going into this week?
Yeah, I think you have to actually look at Adelaide's next game, and I think they played Collingwood and beat Collingwood at Norwood. So we definitely have looked at that game rather than the game we played them, just because of the conditions, but also because Adelaide would have adjusted how they played after losing to us.
They do have a lot of star power. Who are some of the names that fans should be looking at?
Well, obviously everyone knows Erin Phillips. Looks like Randall has settled down back because she was on the wing and up forward this year, but has now settled down back. And also Ponta, who is a sneaky goal kicker in the forward 50, is back, who didn't play in our clash the last time we played Adelaide. They
had the week off, the Crows, finishing top 2, so hopefully for us they come out a little bit slow, but they have a very good finals record. They've played 3 finals, they've won them all. 2 of those are premierships. They've played at Adelaide Oval twice. That's a big win against Geelong, and of course the grand final against Carlton, which was in front of 53,000 people. Are you expecting a big crowd this weekend?
Yeah, hopefully. I think Adelaide's got a really fantastic footy culture, as we've seen over the years, and they particularly for women's football. So hopefully we get 25,000 would be absolutely amazing, and we'll just pretend that it's all the Melbourne Demons supporters supporting us.
Their home ground is Norwood. Is it a little bit of an advantage that we're playing them away from there? Adelaide Oval's a little bit bigger, closer to the size of Casey Fields. Is there anything in that?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I think Adelaide absolutely own Norwood. It's their home base. It's a really narrow ground, and they know how to play it really well. So I think it's really awesome that we're on Adelaide Oval, and looks a little bit more like Casey Fields, and I think we'll be able to play our brand a little bit better, particularly it's a bit of a wider ground, and we'll be able to play through the middle a bit more. That
brand, of course, involves a lot of pressure. Finals are all about pressure, and it brings out that contested game. Do you think that suits us, probably plays into our hands a little?
Yeah, well, we've got great contested ball winners in Eden Zanker, Tyler Hanks. Our midfield's just absolutely running amok at the moment. But equally, in saying that, Adelaide have Anne Hatchard, Ed Marinoff, Erin Phillips. So I think it was battle of the midfield last time, and definitely think it'll be that again.
We'll take a look at our 21 now. It is unchanged, which means our captain Daisy Pearce hasn't returned in time for the prelim final. She was out on the track on Tuesday night doing a little bit of running. There's a chance that if we get through to a granny, she could potentially be there, but we do know that we can win without her as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Daisy Pearce, she's our fearless leader, and she's there regardless of whether she's on the field or not. And last weekend she spent a lot of time on the bench, and when we rotated off, we got a few words from her, which was really important in our win. So we know Daisy's going to play an important role whether she's on the field or not, but fingers crossed we can get through this weekend to give her the best chance to get back on the field for the grand final.
We are without Daisy Pearce, but we are with Lauren Pearce, and personally I think she's the most important player in this side. So obviously,
oh, do you?
I do. Sorry, Liv. She's the ruck, so she gets first hands on the ball, gives our midfielders a really good look at it, but it's her follow-up work as well. So she handballs at ground level, she lays tackles and just gets us moving. She must be just someone you love playing alongside.
Oh, Loz has been absolutely enormous for us this year. It's been fantastic that she's been able to play. She's obviously battling with her knee injuries over the last couple of years. So yeah, she's got a huge contested mark on her, and she's just there when we need her in the important moments, and obviously absolutely killing the ruck this year and has had some individual accolades already so far. So yeah, I think she's going to play a massive role this weekend.
A couple of the other senior players I liked last week were Karen Paxman. Her first game as captain, she was fantastic. 20 disposals, 11 contested possessions, and of course Shelley Scott got on the board with 2 goals. She's always underrated. Won our best and fairest last year, but people still refuse to talk about how important she is to this side. But it was the young girls as well. So in the first final, Alyssa Bannon really stood up, kicked an important goal. Brenna Tarrant kicked her first goal in footy, and Casey Sheriff was enormous as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, that's just the nature of how we've been playing at the moment. Everyone's chipping in and everyone's standing up when they have their moment. Particularly, it was fantastic to see Brenna get a goal, and I called it one for the backliners because she's been back there a fair bit. And it's quite depressing sometimes when we don't get to kick any goals at all.
I think we're going to see a little bit more from Eden Zanker this week, and that flows into my point to look out for. It's all about the yardage, and it's been something she's been really strong at this year, just metres gained, pushing it forward. And in a final, if we can win the ball out of the centre and just avoid having to transition it from half back, it's going to give us a massive advantage. And look, if you're playing the footy in your front half of the ground, it's a lot easier to kick a winning score, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that was my point as well. If from the viewer's perspective, you'll see if we've got the game on our terms, we'll be playing in our forward half.
Yeah, and we're really good at that in the last quarter. Obviously, the game was on the line against Fremantle, 9 inside 50s to 3, and we just didn't let them out. It was that real forward pressure and a good setup behind the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the conditions really played to that. Obviously, the wind was heading to that end, so it made it a lot easier for us to keep it in and lock it in our forward 50. But again, we've been really working on that as a team and making that a huge focus.
We did kick 7 behind, so we didn't necessarily capitalise on that. It was tricky conditions. We'll want to get some better looks this week, hopefully convert that. It is at Adelaide Oval, Saturday afternoon. Lib, good luck for that.
Get there, D's fans, if you can.
Thanks for watching Before the Bounce. Hopefully this isn't our last episode, and we'll see you again for a grand final edition next week.